Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, The Retail Guru. I hope you've been getting ready to enjoy the lovely holidays. I thought I'll do one last video for this year, and this video is basically talking about one of the most famous and rather the number one apparel brand in the world, which is Nike, and how Nike could just not do it in India. I think one of the most important things when you enter a market like India is understanding what is your vehicle of entry. Are you going to come in as an independent subsidiary, or are you going to come in with tying up with various distributors? Nike, I think, didn't have that advantage because Nike came into India pretty early. As a result of which, Nike, like most other brands that want to enter into new markets, will never come as an independent subsidiary. They will always want to mitigate their risks, and they do that by tying up with distributors. The only issue is that India is such a big, diverse country that there's not one person who can scale the entire length and breadth of India. At least that was not the case 15 to 20 years ago when Nike entered. As a result of which, they had to go with a more opportunistic approach when it came to expanding in India. So they had to tie up with multiple distributors. They never really looked at a thought process of expansion. They just wanted to blitz the market with Nike stores. And at their peak, they had about 350 Nike stores. But as of today, Nike has around 100 stores in India. That is obviously telling you that sometimes being the first mover in the market is not necessarily the best. Also, what happens is when you enter a market, you're known for what you do at that point of time. And that essentially stays with the consumer. When Nike enters a market and you look at a market like India, and I've gone to so many Nike stores, I can tell you very clearly that India is definitely not on their priority list. If you look at their collections, it's extremely classic. On the other hand, you had brands like Reebok, which was actually the number one sporting goods brand in India. And Reebok, of course, lost its space in the Indian market because of the misappropriation of funds that happened within the business. When you look at the top three sporting good brands in India, you'd be surprised that the number one sporting goods brand, which has clocked a turnover of about 1300 crore, is actually Puma. Puma entered the market in 2006. Nike would have entered the market more than 15 years before Puma. But Puma was very small. Puma already knew the mistakes that Nike made. Puma never went into affiliations with cricket. And you know that India is cricket crazy. Because they wanted to get back down more into the community. Puma learned that technology makes footwear very expensive. And Nike's footwear is all about technology. So Puma came out with a tier 2 sort of a classic lifestyle category to cater to someone who wants to look in trend but not pay about 40% more than, because that is what a Nike would essentially cost in India. So you will talk about someone who had a first mover advantage but entered a market that was very, very complicated, so could not leverage those learnings. And by the time they decided to adapt to the Indian consumer, you had a brand like Puma already coming and blitzing the Indian market. Today you've got in the tier of brands, it's Puma, Adidas and Nike. So what the learning from this is that just because you're a number one brand in the world doesn't mean that you'll be a number one brand in India. Very important is not necessarily to be the first to enter the market. Let someone else do the donkey work for you. Let them do the learnings, and then you just go and look at their approach, look at their scalability, and you adapt yourself in that. And I think that is one of the reasons why Nike could not just do it in India. So you see, it is no coincidence that I'm actually wearing a Puma t-shirt. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm trying to keep it short, sweet and simple so that my audience, which has a very short attention span, can still stay engaged. And I'll see you in the new year after the holidays. Thank you everyone. Have a good day.